Well, first thing I'm going to try to do is pull off some of these, the top, this part. And then once I get in that side, that's the starboard side, that's where my electronics are. And I'm going to try to uncover where my transducer wire comes up off the hull. So when you're pulling up the cover from the corner, start with the corner, and small little tugs and movements are preferred to the larger. That panel, from where you see the bumper, that panel can be removed with about 2 or 3 screws. Also, this panel over here can also be removed with a couple of screws. That way I can get at it. This is the transducer on the right there. It has a little thin cable that comes up through the transom here, and then it goes up. You can follow it all the way through up to here. It travels right along this webbed part, and this is where you cannot see it anymore. I'm gonna take this panel off, this one here. It's only held in with a couple screws really, and then I'll be able to follow that cable to pull up the bimini and sort of just post it in here so it's up and kind of out of the way. I'll be able to get at my panel there. Well, we pulled up all the wires out of the panel that I showed you. I got them all in the open, reconnected everything, and this is where we got same problem. Getting a depth of 0. Everything else is working. I went back and I spun the little speedometer wheel, and it registered well too. So that's working. Alright, anyway, so I'm going to give it a rest for the night. It's a work in progress. There you go. Next thing we have to do is take the cowling off the motor, stand it up more vertically, or maybe I can get at it like this. Take the cowl off, and then there's 3 spark plugs with little plugs on them. I got to pull those connectors off one at a time though, so you don't mix them up. And then I got to find my wrench, take out the spark plugs, spray in a good amount of this, and that protects the motor over the winter from rust. That's it for now. I got the spray in. It's supposed to keep things from getting rusty inside. So that's done. Whoever worked on this thing last, I had it in this last spring because she wouldn't start. And I needed a tune-up for a long time. So they, of course, put in new spark plugs and cranked that last bottom one that you could hardly reach anyway. They cranked it in there. It was, I mean, come on. It's got to be finger tight and a little bit more. So, anyway, I got it going, and everything's fine there. Drain out the existing gear lube, which also might have water in it. You don't want water in the motor over the winter. It shall expand and crack that housing, and that would be a very big fix. So we drain it out and add a brand new gear lube. It's kind of a messy little operation. And then both of the hubs on the trailer have to be greased every season. We did that this spring. Actually, a neighbor came over. He got a power greaser gun for his Christmas, so he couldn't wait to use it. Have at it. So we greased up my hubs on the trailer, and also there's a bunch of grease points on the motor that we greased up as well. So we got some good service out of that. So that's about all I got to do to the motor, and then crank it back up onto the anchor on the transom saver. I got some, like I said, electrical issues that are coming up. I want to show you the brand new floor I put in about 2 or 3 years ago. It's kind of nice. It's all starboard. It's pretty good stuff. So I hope you like it. Here we go. That's the gear lube that we use. It's made by Mercury. There's aftermarket stuff, but I don't trust it. I think they cost about 10 or maybe even $20. You need a full one, and you got to buy that little plunger too that pumps it in and pumps out the old. So it's what we need. I had that one laying around since last year. Well, we'd love to give our boat a good scrub down. I got some, I think they call it marine soap, like boat soap. It's stronger than even car soap. You mix it up just like you would wash a car. And this is a nice brush that I hook onto it screws right onto a stick handle. And boy, you can really get some suds with that. And I scrub down all the canvas, the entire boat with this thing. And then last but not least, we put on 2 more boat covers. I had an old canvas one, the original, and then also a nice plastic one, a real good polyester plastic. So that's the final one. That makes it waterproof. And then we wrap it down with a bunch of belly straps and tighten it around. Actually, the back end here at the stern sometimes has openings, and I'm a little nervous about that. I designed a few styrofoam insets that were supposed to hold the things out, and they do. You just got to make sure you don't leave any food or anything that looks like food inside the boat. And then before I put up all those tarps on it, well, I clean up the interior, of course, and there's 10 posts in there. There's 3, so that holds the top up like a cathedral. And then I also pop up all the chairs, so they actually act as somewhat as a structure too. So, because it gets a lot of weight in the winter, and when the snow goes on it, she adds weight there too. And whenever we have snow, I have to get out there with the big garage broom and sweep her off. So that's why I leave a little bit of a gap over here where a guy could walk through there. And I even have where I can blow the snow through there. I can get the snowblower once through there. So we're getting there. as I mentioned, the electrical bugs are going to be coming on. I got to get on that pretty soon too. And here comes Judy. I asked her if she wants to see what I had done. There she is. Hi.
Hi.
So I took the cowling off the motor and the cowling, popped the top off, which is hard to do. And then I got my wrench kit out, and then there's 3 spark plugs, bing, bang, and boom. I took them out, and the guy, remember we had it tuned up this spring? Mm-hmm. And the guy, he cranked them things in. You're not supposed to do that to spark plugs. Like, he forced them in there really hard. And he was like, are you kidding me? You're supposed to be like finger tight and then maybe hand tight, you know? And they cranked it, especially the bottom one, which is hard to get at. So I sprayed in our little spray stuff so it won't rust from the inside. And then I had to lower it down because I couldn't get the cowling back on because it's really difficult. So next they're going to do the lube, and then we got to cover her up. So that's that. What do you think? Does it look like I was busy?
I don't know. I guess so.
Thank you.
I'm going back in. I'm cold.
All right, honey bunch. What's the name of the book? Journey. And that's by Michener?
About these arrogant British people who want to get to the gold rush.
Oh, yeah.
They won't go through the United States, which would be
the shortest way.
The easiest, because if they go through Seattle, then they're over the Rockies already.
Right.
So they're like very naive. They're like, oh, we're going to go up the Mackenzie, which has its delta in the Beaufort Sea by the Arctic Circle. But they have to get out before that. Before they hit that, they're going to take the Rat River west. That's supposed to be the easiest way to get over the Continental Divide.
That's what the Donner Party thought.
And they were like contemplating if they were going to do that or not. And it was getting later in the season, and the river started freezing.
Uh-oh.
So they had to like port there. They were forced to
camp for the winter there?
Right.
They wintered out there? Or tried to?
They are going to, yeah.
Ooh.
It's very bad.
Not too good of an idea.
This is one of his earlier books, I think. So it's only maybe 300 pages long. It's not as usual 1,200. All right.
See ya. Be very, very safe. I'm videotaping you on your exit here. Do something fabulous. Oh, that's nice.
Oh, are you making pictures? Bye.
I was videoing you.
Oh, okay.
A wave or something. That's good. Say hi to Rose for me. Well, the next thing we got to do is crack her open and see if there's any power to it. Luckily, the batteries are right in that compartment right there. Well, it looks like I was able to correct it. Nothing really must have been wrong with it. Short of this thing was bad on batteries or one thing or another. I'm going to have to maintain this thing with the batteries. And at the end of the day, it's working. So let's put it away then. I'll go down with the anchor. it doesn't worry me too much when I'm underway with the boats, but on the freeways it doesn't matter. So we got it nice and safe for travel. Okay, another job well done.
Go faster. I said, well, it's not really going to agitate it. That's for washing like your underwear.
Delicate.
Oh, well then put it on casual. So I had to keep, she canceled the cycle 4 times.
What is it that she's trying to wash again?
A blanket from her bed. A big one.
Yeah, she needs the most powerful.
She says, just let me do what I want. I'm like,
my.
very much. I said, you can do whatever you want. And I said, you know all that fuzz that you're feeling and smelling? I said, you know where that is?
Where the filter?
In your head.
Oh.
No, it isn't. And she got real mad at me.
Yeah. Fight with your mother.
Oh, rubber band.
That's better. So what should we talk about?
Can you pay in this bitch? She's just a sweet old lady. Yeah. Dig through the layers.
So who gets to go first?
Go first.
Yeah. You're probably better off going first. That way, at least you get what you said out before she gets mad and cuts you off. Oh boy, mothers, what are you gonna do with them? I made a nice little soda invention. It had about 4 ounces of apple cider.
Yeah.
And then the 12-ounce can of orange vanilla. What is that really? Soda. Club Stein Club soda. What is it? Seltzer soda? Seltzer water. It's very good. It's got orange and vanilla flavor. And then, of course, the apple cider. It's just delicious. There's a nice blanket. Maybe we'll roll it up and use it in the boat sometime. It seems like nobody wants it, but I'm going to hold on to it if they don't. Beautiful blanket. Well, I've been having actually a pretty enjoyable day here. I got a couple things fixed. The anchor cranker up front works like a charm. I do have the, it's got the remote in order to activate it, which I'm not all that, because that remote's kind of old and crummy. There's not another way to just switch it to a hard switch that I know of. Maybe if I worked on it a little bit more, I could. I had a switch around here that might be the thing to do, but let's leave it for another time. And the other thing, we fixed our fish locator, Loran's depth was a problem. We had no depth. That meant the transducer wasn't figured out. Well, one thing led to another, and I actually had to rewire some extra power onto it. And it's going to be using those, the power from the front of the boat, the batteries that are normally there for the trolling motor. So it's got plenty of power to run. It hardly draws any, really. But the temperature is 70 degrees, I guess, and that's water temperature at the surface, so we're working on that. And then we're at 1.6 feet deep. What I had to do, because you can't fix a transducer in the open air, it's got to do with its sonar, and it's got to do with microwaves, and if you do it dry, it just wasn't working. You just can't ever troubleshoot a transducer in dry conditions. So they recommend you get a bucket and you stick your bucket underneath the transom of your boat, and that's what I did. And so it's wet, and it's thinking it's in 1.6 feet of water, which sort of makes sense because it's a pretty big bucket. Anyway, we've got 13.1 volts in our system, so that's kind of good. We're not moving, so the speed doesn't say, it's just 0.